Okay, hello. Back again with your host, Scott Dewey, and Why I Love Harry's Razors, part the second. As you can see, last weekend, last Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday, and I celebrated it by shaving off the big bushy mustache I'd grown and going to do the Old Testament for a while, or Leo Tolstoy, or whichever you prefer. Um, Kind of nice having the mustache gone because first of all, my hair is wiry and spiky and it curls around. So, for instance, if you smile, you get lots of hairs pricking right up into your nostrils. Horrible. Glad to have that mustache gone. A little bit premature because we got another week of mostly below 0 Fahrenheit weather here, and I did feel the difference. And it was kind of interesting earlier with the mustache. When you're out in conditions where it's in the aughts or below 0 and it feels 10 degrees colder because the wind is blowing. You get little icicles. The moisture that comes out of your nostrils as you exhale forms little icicles in your mustache. With the mustache gone, actually, it goes down and forms little icicles here instead. Kind of weird. But the mustache did a better job of trapping the heat coming out of your body within this whole system of hair. And without the mustache, you lose that, and it is actually different. I felt the difference when it was like -4 feels like -12. But it's already what is it? February 11th? No, wait a minute. No, Saturday. It's February 10th, and yeah, definitely might get down below 0 once or twice, but probably not for a solid week. And I've had about enough of this beard, so it may be, getting toward the end of its days. Enough big bushy facial hair explosion for one winter season. Wait till next year. Anyway, though, I wanted to tell you about how I first encountered Harry's Razors, or how I first purchased and tried out Harry's Razors. And it's kind of ironic because, well, I should say I don't trust marketing or advertising, and I especially don't trust it when I see it on the internet. Now, marketers out there don't get all excited and upset. It's just me, I'm sure. But anyway, when I see an ad campaign just harping at me in the margins of whatever websites I'm browsing on the internet, I am mistrustful. And so, I saw, Harry's Razor ad campaign for months and months, and I had my usual response to especially internet advertising, which is, okay, that must be junk, that must be something I don't want, whatever. I was totally wrong. I'm sure I've been wrong about other products too. Maybe I ought to learn and get over that response. But it took me a while to get over it. I mean, I saw the little razors in green or orange or whatever it might be in the ads running around the top or the sides of the internet screens I was looking at, and I got kind of annoyed. Like I'm sick of Harry's Razors. However, when I moved to Minneapolis back in November of 2016. I was also kind of out of other shaving stuff. I had traditionally used various, I guess those are all Gillette products like Atra, Track 2, through the years. They've been pretty good, but they always left me like having to shave twice and still looking like I needed to shave. I had some electric razors. I never had that much luck with electric razors. I'm sure there's some very good ones out there. And they probably also work better for guys with more normal facial hair that isn't so tough, stiff, and wiry as this. I've run into other guys with thick beards, like from, southern France, Italy, dark black kind of beard hair, who had the same experience with shaving products. Um, it's like whatever you tried, it didn't do all that well for you. Fine for other people, not so good for you. But anyway, so let's see. Yeah, I happened to catch some nice kind of Indian summer, very end of autumn. It was possible to motorcycle across Minneapolis just wearing jeans and a t-shirt in the first half of November that year. That all changed very quickly, and I kind of knew it was going to, but I scurried around to buy some stuff I needed before I got snowed in or whatever would happen. And I went out to Target to look at options for shaving stuff. And I saw a display of Harry's razors. And I thought, well, why not give it a try? What have I got to lose except, a limited little amount of money? If it doesn't work out, can go back to other things. But I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a try. And let's see, when I went to the checkout also, there was a woman in line ahead of me, and she saw I had, Harry's razors, a handle with, I guess, 2 razor heads in it, plus an extra pack of 5 just heads. And she saw that and said, oh, yeah, her daughter just loved Harry's razors for shaving her legs. So that was one, little customer testimonial, I suppose. But anyway, I didn't know what to think. And when I first saw the product, well, first of all, let's see, the heads are detachable from the handle and reattachable, of course. So when you change a head, you do it that way. They have, as they advertise, five blades, German engineered, all actually very close together. And the heads are also designed to be flexible, as you can see there. And when I first saw that, I really didn't trust it. I looked at it. It was different from what I was used to, of course, of a stiffer, more structural head. And I thought, well, how is this going to work? I mean, if it's that floppy, how is it going to, get the hair and so on? However, first time I tried it, best shave I'd ever had in my many years of shaving since I was 13. I mean, it just cleared out the hair so nicely. I didn't have to shave twice for once. It did the job on the first sweep. The flexible head is very well designed. I mean, somebody, those crazy Germans knew what they were doing. But anyway, it really does conform nicely to your face, and my face anyway. It does the job. One thing I was especially impressed with too is I wasn't sure about that with the floppy head and the shape of it and everything. How good would it be at getting into the tricky areas? Like, my mustache grows right up to my nostrils, meaning I have to cut right there. And you know something? Your nostrils are tremendously sensitive. They're full of capillaries and other blood vessels, and if you nick them even slightly, they just bleed like you wouldn't believe, and it takes forever for it to close itself off and start to heal. And so, for instance, I mean, one thing I tried in the past was a standard traditional safety razor, which works pretty well in general. It actually holds up pretty well against some of the other things I'd used, like Atra and track 2. However, with this, if you have to go in right under your nostrils, right around there to get hair out, it's totally easy to nick your nostril with the other side of it. Safety razor or no, it can still cut. So I was delighted to find something that you could get in really close and get a good job done and not cut yourself. I mean, I just through the years, actually, using other products and having to shave twice, like I say, to really get the beard down, I was just in the habit of, yeah, you're going to cut yourself. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen pretty often. Get used to it. And I did. But yeah, have not had that trouble with Harry's razors. And for what it's worth, I should maybe mention, I've seen the kind of ad duel or battle going on recently between Harry's and whatever advanced new product I think Gillette has come out with. And like I say, I used Gillette through the years, Atra, Track 2. I thought they were pretty good. Of course, I hadn't encountered this. I should just say for the record, I have no idea how good or bad the new Gillette product is. I assume it's pretty good. I assume it's advanced, just as the design of this has. I'm so satisfied with this, I don't feel that much of a need to try out Gillette's. This has done the job like nothing else ever has for me. And moreover, these heads last so long that I still have 5 of them in reserve. That's another little story, I suppose. But the first one of these I tried out back at the end of 2016. First time I'd ever tried the product. I used it for a time. It worked very nicely, and then it got brutally cold, and I decided, well, it might be kind of good to have a little face blanket. So I grew a beard through the depths of winter. Later, cut it off, shaved it off. Was back to using Harry's razors on a daily basis all over. And anyway, the cutting head just held up and held up and held up, and it was so good that I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to do an endurance test on this thing. I'm going to use it longer than I have any right to, longer than it's designed for. I'm just going to see how long it holds up, how long it keeps cutting. And it just kept cutting. It's like, kind of like the Energizer Bunny of razor heads. It kept cutting and cutting and cutting and doing a good job for months and months. And I think, I forget when I shaved this off last year. Probably would have been also in February or so. And then I kept shaving on a daily basis through March, through April. At a certain point, the 5 razors here were still doing a great job. At a certain point, the flexible head actually wore out. That is, it wasn't kind of holding itself to this range anymore. Just it flopped back. Something broke and it flopped back. Now, that's no fault of the product. I was overusing it deliberately. I was using it ridiculously long. And, finally something gave. You know what? Then I went on using it for like another month or 2, just holding my finger behind the broken head that was flopping back, and I could still get a really good shave, and it was still cutting very nicely. Matter of fact, it probably still does. I finally took it all the way, well, it broke out of its assembly altogether at a certain point. For a while I was still using this to shave my neck, the back of it, or whatever. I still could. These very well-used blades still cut. However, at a certain point I thought, okay, well, that's really enough of a stress test. I pushed it beyond any reasonable limit. It did a great job. And I had a conference to go to, and I thought, okay, I will crack out a new one. That was back in beginning of last July 2017. So, toward the beginning. Anyway, let's see, most of July, all of August, all of September, all of October, all of November, so 5 months. This this shaving head lasted 5 months before I grew this monstrosity on my face. And then I continued using it to shave my neck and shave it so it wouldn't crawl up into my eyes and so on. For another 2 months, and now it's back to doing my mustache, and soon it'll be back to doing the whole job. So, 5 months of heavy regular usage, another 2 months of lighter use. It's still cutting well. And, well, that just amazes me. I mean, like I say, nobody is paying me for this. Probably nobody ever will. And that's fine. I'm doing it. It's kind of like a public service announcement. I just feel, well, for whatever reason, I felt like saying nice things about some products that have kind of really helped my life. and this has. That is, I used to just, I used to hate confronting shaving every day. It was just such an unpleasant experience. Knowing I would cut myself, I wouldn't get all that good a shave. I used to not shave on the weekends at all because I hated shaving, which just meant it was a worse job on Monday morning, etc. Yeah, Harry's has kind of broken my aversion to shaving in a way I wouldn't have thought was possible. So I think very highly of the product.